Habari gani? Kuumba. Say Kuumba. Kuumba means creativity, and you've been doing a great job to show your creativity with all the crafts we have done so far this week. This craft is special because it allows us to show our creativity in more than one way. We are going to make djembes. Say djembe. A djembe is an African drum, and drums are used to make music. So we use music for many things. We use music to heal, to celebrate, to communicate, but we also use music to express our creativity through song and dance. So each child is going to make their own djembe. What you need are 2 cups, tape, a sheet of construction paper, could be black, red, or green, whatever you prefer, a large rubber band, and some optional things to make your djembe beautiful. So you might want to use strips of paper that we have left over from other crafts. You might want to use pipe cleaners. You could use pom-poms, ribbons, glitter, whatever you want to make your djembe beautiful. Okay, so what I've got 2 cups. I have tape. I have pipe cleaners. I've got some glitter glue and pom-poms that I didn't use last time, so I'm going to use them now, and a few strips of paper. So we're going to start this craft by decorating our cups. So starting with the first cup, I am going to take a strip of paper and make that beautiful. Then I'm going to add it to my cup. So I've got a long strip of green paper, and I'm just going to use a black marker to make some designs on the paper to make the paper look cool. So I'm going to draw a zigzag line from one end of my paper to the other. So I'm just going up and down in a zigzag pattern from one end to the other. Pretty simple. Then to make this look cooler, I'm going to add some dots. So I'll put a dot in each of the spaces. So just like this. Really simple, but it just makes it look more interesting. And it is traditional that our fabrics and our crafts have these interesting patterns like this. These are really easy to create. Okay, so I've made a green strip look beautiful. Now I am going to make a red strip look beautiful as well. And I'm going to start it the same. I'm going to start it with a zigzag, but instead of just using dots to decorate it, I'm going to use some extra lines. And I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. So starting with that zigzag, really easy, up and down zigzag. Now I'm going to draw lines horizontally or side to side in the V's or the spaces of my zigzag. And notice I'm skipping one in the middle. You can do however you like. I just want to skip the middle ones because I'm going to do something different in the middle. So I'm just going to continue all the way down. And then when I get to the end, I'm going to now add that other piece. For the other piece, I'm just going to do a little swirl or a spiral in the middle. See, just like that. Very simple. But it just adds some beauty to your strips so they're not plain strips of paper. So now that I've got a beautiful red and green strip of paper, I'm going to add them to my cup. So with the Kwanzaa tradition, I always start with black, and then I move to red, and then finally to green. So I'm just going to wrap this paper right around the cup. And because the cup is a little bit bigger on the top than it is on the bottom, when you wrap it, notice how it overlaps in the back. It's not exactly straight, but that is okay. It is still very beautiful and interesting. So I'm going to use a very small piece of tape to hold that together in the back. Okay, just like that. And then I am going to take the green strip and I'm going to wrap that closer to the bottom of the cup. So you can see my black, red, green pattern. Again, I try to stay with that pattern as much as possible because those are the order of the bandera. We know that the people come first, the struggle or the work comes next, and then finally we enjoy the success. So again, I just wrapped it around. I was careful to tuck the green underneath the red to start with because I know that it's going to overlap a little bit because the bottom is smaller than the top is. So I just tuck the green right underneath, and then I just carefully wrap that around, and then I'm going to secure it or hold it down with a small piece of tape. Okay, do that. All right. And that is beautiful. Wow, my djembe is looking great so far. So I've got some other things that I could decorate with. I do have those pom-poms that I took out to use before, but I didn't actually get to use them. And they're all different colors. I don't have red, green, and black only, but that is okay. So I'm actually going to use school glue to hold on the pom-poms. That just works best. If you are being helped by an adult and they have a hot glue gun, that works even better. But it's going to be tricky if you're trying to use a glue stick or tape. School glue would be better for that. So I am just going to put a little dab of glue, and I'm putting it in the black space that I have up at the top. I'm just going to add a pom-pom there. I don't need a whole lot of glue. And I don't want to go too close to the edge because I am actually going to put my cups together, and then if I put it too close to the edge, when I put my top on, I won't be able to see those decorations. So I want to make sure that I have a little bit of space at the top, okay, at the top and the bottom. Just have some space there. All right, so adding another pom-pom. I think I'll add one more here. And one more here. So I've got 3 little pom-poms there around my cup, not too close to the edge, because I know that this is either going to be the bottom of my drum or it's going to be the top of my drum, whichever you choose. But you want to have some space here. You don't want to put any decorations here or here because you won't be able to see those and it's going to be difficult to make that connection. Okay, so this part of my djembe is beautiful. Now I'm going to make this part of my djembe beautiful. And I'm going to try something different with this one. I'm going to use some smaller strips of paper this time. And I am going to make vertical lines up and down. But first, I'm going to decorate these strips because they're looking pretty boring. So I'm going to just make diagonal lines on this strip is what I'm thinking right now. Instead of actually doing another zigzag pattern, I'm just going to make some diagonal lines that are different sizes to make a cool pattern like that. And then for my green strip, I think I'll make some wavy lines. Just be creative and do whatever you choose. So just making some wavy lines, and they're all different. I'm not too worried about it being perfect or being the same. Just want to make it beautiful. And I think I will decorate one more of each color. And I'm just going to repeat the same pattern. I like for things to be uniform or the same. So I'm just going to do squiggly lines on my green again and those diagonal lines on my red again. You can do whatever you think is going to look the best. Okay, so once I have decorated a few more strips of paper, because that's what I'm choosing to use, I am going to tape them onto this cup, which will be the second part of my djembe. I'm going to tape them vertically. So I'm going to tape them up and down. Notice that this strip is a little too long. No problem. I'm just going to cut off a little from each of the edges, each side, so that I saved my pretty design in the middle. Just cut a little off the top, a little off the bottom, and now it fits perfectly. Now, because I am putting this on vertical instead of wrapping it around, I'm going to have to use glue to hold it on instead of tape. I could use tape, but I might need more tape to make it stay because it doesn't lay flat. So I'm just going to use a glue stick because that's going to be easier for me. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the edges. You really don't need any in the middle of your strip, but right around the edges. And then I'm going to place that on my cup, just like that. Then I'm going to keep going with the other colors that I have, making a pretty pattern. Remember, if you need more time to decorate your strips or to use whatever materials you're working with, you can always press pause and then continue when you are ready. So I've got my green strip on. Don't forget to cut off any extra that you have on the sides so that your strip actually fits. You don't want to have anything hanging over because we have to attach a drum top, and then we've also got to attach the two cups together. So we don't want to have anything here. You don't want to have anything hanging over right here. So again, just keep going until you've got all your strips beautifully placed on your cup. I have some extra that I have to cut off here. No big deal. Just do that and attach them. Great job. All right. So now I've got all of my strips of paper attached to my cup, and it is looking quite nice. So the last optional item that I want to use is a pipe cleaner. And I am just going to, actually I'm going to use two of them. I have a purple one, which happens to be my favorite color. So just going to take those and I'm going to join them together. And I'm just going to make like a wavy pattern with them. So I'm leaving some space in between and then just twisting them to hold them together. And then I'm going to wrap it around the cup like that. You can definitely do anything that you want with whatever materials you have. I'm just adding some beauty. I'm tapping into my Kuumba, my creativity, and just trying to make my djembe as beautiful as it can be. So to close this circle, I am just wrapping the end pieces of the pipe cleaners around each other. Okay, like that. And then I'm just going to slide it up as far as I can so that it doesn't move. And it will hold pretty nicely by itself. You shouldn't need any tape or glue, but it is okay if you want to use a piece of tape or glue to hold it together or hold it onto your djembe so that you don't lose it. But it really should stay. It shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so there it is. I've decorated both cups and now I'm ready for the next step. For the next step, we're going to create the top of our drum so that we can actually use it to make music. I'm going to do that with a black sheet of construction paper. If you choose to use red or green or some other color, that is okay. I'm going to make the top by cutting a circle. I'm going to do that by folding my paper, which I'm holding landscape or horizontal. I'm going to gently fold it over. And I'm going to press, but only in the corners so that it holds for me, but it doesn't really create a crease in the middle. And I'm doing that just because I don't want a crease in my circle for the top of my drum. But if it's easier for you to press all the way across and then have a crease in your circle, that's okay too. Now I'm going to cut a large circle. It needs to be bigger than the top, than the opening of the cup. So a large circle. Doesn't have to be measured, but if you have a protractor and you want to measure, by all means, you may do that. I am just going to wing it, and I'm going to cut a half circle that I am correcting. It didn't come out perfect, and that's okay. I'm going to cut a half circle, and you're going to get pretty much a circle. Not perfect, but that's okay. Then we are going to put that onto the top of our cup. Then, using that really large rubber band that we have, we are going to fold the circle down a little bit and place the rubber band. If you've got a very big rubber band, you may want to pull it twice, wrap it around twice, because you want your paper to be pulled as tightly as possible across the top of your cup. Okay? And I am actually going to switch cups. I think I want this to be the top of my djembe. So I just took the rubber band off, no big deal. And now I'm putting my paper on the other cup because I want that one to be the top. And then I'm putting my rubber band around, and I'm being careful to make sure that my paper is pulled tight. I'm wrapping my rubber band twice. Again, I want that to be nice and tight. So it will look like this. Notice that my paper is hanging down. It's not all perfectly trimmed, but that's okay. We will correct that. But you've got the top of your drum. Makes a pretty good sound, right? Now we're going to take scissors and we're going to carefully cut around the top of the drum so that we can see those beautiful decorations that we placed on our djembe. Just very carefully cut that extra paper off. We don't need it. And the rubber band will hold on what's on the top. So we'll be all set. Okay. So I trimmed my paper back. I'm going to fluff up my pom-poms to make sure that those are looking beautiful, just like that. And I've got the top of my drum, my djembe. Now the last step is that we are going to turn a cup upside down. We're going to take the top of our djembe and we're going to place it on top. So this is what it looks like. Awesome, right? Yes. We're going to take tape and we're going to connect our cups. Just taking some clear tape, and I'm going to go around a couple of times because I want to make sure that my djembe holds. I want it to stay together. And this is our final project. Look at how awesome that is. And now I can make music. That is awesome. Would you like this drum? Yes. Make sure that you join us for our final craft tomorrow for Imani. Wishing you a joyous Kwanzaa. Heri za Kwanzaa.